Well, hey there, everybody. This is Professor Rich, and we're down to the end of the semester and the end of the class. And I promised everybody I would give a final exam review. And this is probably an unorthodox review in the sense that I'm merely going to point out everything that you learned. And you did learn quite a bit, whether you wanted to or not. And I have made everything available. All the modules that we've done, I've made them available on Blackboard for the next couple of days for you to look through and just really get a good review sense if you wish. And the wonderful thing about this process is that you may take the final exam as often as you wish because only the very last grade counts. So, by way of a beginning, we'll come right here. And the very first thing, number one, the very first module we went over was syllabus. And with the syllabus, we learned that not only in this class, but every class, there should be some key elements for every syllabus. Part of it is a way to contact the instructor. Part of it is to understand how you're going to be graded. Part of it is to understand what is expected of you. And a part of it is to provide a course outline so you have an idea of where we would be at any particular time of the semester. So you're probably going to see a few questions on syllabus. The very next thing I put up and we went over was Blackboard tips and tricks. And I'm not going to go into it here, but you folks learned how to embed an image. You learned how to do a screenshot, capture a screenshot, and save it as either a graphic in an art program or embed it into a document. And with either one, you learned that you can attach a document. You can't embed a document, but you can embed a art, something from an art program, a .png, portable networks graphic. We learned that we can embed that in the bulletin board. And we learned various ways to get around Blackboard. So that's what we did with Unit 2. Unit 3 is college resources. And the key thing here, let me fix this. I'm a lousy talker and typer. Oops, I'm a very lousy talker and typer. The key thing with college resources is that reconnoiter is a crucial concept. And reconnoiter means that you're doing some reconnaissance. And with all things college resources and all things work resources, restaurant resources, wherever you would go, there are certain things that you would look for. And particularly in college, you would look for, you'd have to know where bathrooms are, where exits are. You would have to know where financial aid is, where counseling is. You would need to know who to speak to about different topics. And we covered that all from a very self-study point of view in college resources. Up next, we have number 4. And number 4 was learning styles. And it's here that you took a variety of assessments to determine your visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learning style, your sensory learning style, then your emotional learning style, and we went over a variety of others, and ultimately wound up with your psychological learning style. Some of this was a little bit in depth per the quizzes, so you might want to review those. But learning styles number 4 is what we went over. Then the 5th week, the infamous memory. And we saw a variety of films. We saw that memories could be changed chemically now. There are all sorts of new discoveries. We learned that no two brains are alike and everybody remembers things differently depending on their sensory input. So all things memory is available for you to look through. Number 6, week 6 was finances. And with finances comes the concept of financial literacy. And financial literacy is something that in my generation we never went over. That was what rich people learned in private schools. And as you may realize, Governor Raimondo is proposing that financial literacy be part of all the schools' curriculums in the state beginning next year. So everybody's going to have a little taste of what it's like to learn to make and manage money and set up a budget and deal with different aspects. We didn't have a lot of numerical calculations in this. You might see some up there. It's very math 0500. Don't be panicky. You get to take this as often as you wish. Then we had week number 7. And module number 7 was all about goal setting. And we went over the, when you were doing your 5-year plan, we went over the concept of SMART goals, and we learned a new formula. And we also talked about decision making, specifically with the wise choice process. And those of you that took advantage of the bonus exercise with wise choice process, you folks did very well. But that is open for you to review. There may be a thing or two on that. Next, we had module number 8 was on time management. And as you know, we had the 2 different approaches to time management. We had the committed, maintenance, and discretionary, very military approach to time, the command module. And then we also had the mission-based approach to time management, where you manage yourself, you don't manage time, and it's pretty much in a straight line instead of going round and round in a circle. Coming up, number 9 was note-taking, and we did visual note-taking this semester. And those of you that did it dreaded it to begin with, but after you pulled it off, you were happy that you did. And I appreciate you, again, looking into this new approach. As we've discussed, some people, based on the learning styles, some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic. And if you're visual, per your reading, you learn that you can be visual words or visual pictures. But oftentimes, to think in pictures is never taught or even reckoned with in any type of curriculum. So I tried to introduce it a few times here, and with the visual note-taking, that was a prime example. Another most recent example is creating, can you believe it, a PowerPoint before you write your paper. But that, for the people that are visual or kinesthetic, they love doing it that way. And if you found that you enjoyed doing it that way, you might want to go back and see what your learning style was per the assessments that you did. Now, number 10, module 10, this is where we begin wrapping up the semester. And it was the MLA paper introduction, part 1. And that was the first part of it, where you did your assessments to see what your career aptitudes might be. And you posted in on the bulletin board about what your dream career would be. If you could have any career at all, what would it be? And just to give you an idea of what you might be good at versus what you want to do. Oftentimes we desire to do something, we overlook that we're very talented in areas that don't seem to thrill us. But you might find that you're more satisfied working where you're very good and excel at what you do, rather than pursuing your dream and maybe not doing so well. And I'm not trying to talk anybody out of pursuing a dream, but it's really important when you choose a career to listen to other people's advice as to what you might be good at, because sometimes our impulses tend to drive us away, and we'll choose something silly like being a ukulele player rather than doing work in the hard sciences or something like engineering, things that we might be good at. So we did the assessments for career aptitude in number 10. Number 11 was the MLA paper. And here we got, and that's part 2. Let me not be sloppy here. And here we discussed the ways to find your sources. I told you how I would suggest getting into your MLA project. And we did a lot of rote exercises. One was create either a business card or a resume, watch the interview films, and begin contemplating what career exactly you were going to write about. There were also 2 quizzes, Quiz 9 and Quiz 10, that some have taken, some have not, as well as a bonus quiz on easy grammar that tie into this paper project, and you will see on the final exam. So you might want to brush up on those, but again, this is not a one-shot only deal with the final exam. Take it, pay close attention as you take this, and if you're not satisfied with your grade, you can go back and retake it. It's 50 questions. Students have been utilizing a similar flavor of a similar exam for the past 18 or 20 years, and everybody has done pretty well on this. So I want you all to have faith in yourselves and your ability. If you're even listening to this video, you have been focused on the class and you've done very well. So there's no reason to not have faith. Number 12, the very last, and that was the MLA upload and the final exam. And the final exam will be available on Wednesday, and you'll have a few days to go in there and do it. But sometimes it's like jumping in the water. You're better off not worrying about it, not thinking about it, not putting it off, but making sure you just dive in and get it over with. And one thing I wanted to touch base here that we did is the ever-dreaded group process assignment. And group process is a lot of fun. Not for me anyway. I'm very shy and introverted, so I don't do well in groups. But I understand how it works. And just as a very ever so brief wrap up for you folks, particularly the folks that did not participate, those that participated and to the process on the discussion board earned 2.5 attitude points for having gone through and stuck out with the exercise. Those that did not participate did not earn those 2.5 points. That you cannot go back and redo. But for everybody listening, the people that participated learned something quite clearly, and it can be nerve-wracking when you have to depend on other people to help you with an assignment that you're going to be graded on. I'm going to say that again. It can be nerve-wracking when you have to depend on other people, many of whom you do not know, particularly when it comes to an assignment that you're all going to receive the same grade on. So diplomacy is very important. We learned that there's always one person, the initiator, who wants to get the process going. And in the 2 successful cases out of 4 groups, 2 groups did carry through and submit questions for the FAQ page. It boiled down to the initiators basically doing all the work with some input from the group. So, group process is here to stay. Group process is a very important part of life. It's been my experience that students that learn the nuances of group process, tend to do much better than students that don't. So, whatever your feeling was for this assignment, realize this was just one of many to come in your careers. So, that's a lot of work. Let's take a look at this. That's a lot of work, and you folks did a great job. I'm proud of you. You stuck it out. You will do fine. Just go back and review these. And remember, this has been a wrap. It's a final exam review. Don't worry, be happy. If you have any questions, please text me, email me, or course message me. And as always, don't worry, be happy. You'll be fine. Thank you.